go over some body polarities, okay? Now, this is going to be a basic introduction of body and polarities and how they work. I'll go through these. I'm going to give you some yin and yang, positive and negative. I'll give you some 5-element theory, then I'm going to give you some combat applications of these so that you'll have some techniques you can take out of here, okay? All right.
Wait a minute. What I'm going to do, you have it shut off. I'm going to ask the people, Rick, I'm going to ask you to
Visual aid, okay? So you've seen me do this last year for some of you that were here. But I'm going to stand some people up here and I'm going to show you some different ways the body can be segregated so that yin and yang will take place. Yin and yang translates positive and negative. Certain parts of the body are positive and certain parts are negative when compared to one another. That's all relative to the comparison that you are making at the time. Okay? So I need 2 people up here first. Just give me 2 bodies. It doesn't hurt, just 2 bodies. There you go. Okay? All right. Now I'm going to take these 2 guys and let's say we got a big samurai sword and I can run over here and I cut them in half. Okay? We cut them right across the belt line, right across the navel line. He points down, the big guy points up. Everything above the belt line is positive, everything below the belt line is negative. Okay? 2 more guys. Just pick me 2 bodies. Yeah, just quick. We're going to get through this quickly so we can go on to something else. Okay? I want one of you to face the other way. This way. One facing this way. Okay? The front of the body with his hands up. Feet slightly turned out. Good. This is the negative side. Okay? Hands up, please. What you see here is the positive side. Okay? Positive, negative. 2 more. Face one another. Okay? We cut this individual this way so that we have a positive side and a negative side. Okay? Left being positive, right being negative. Okay? Understand. Positive, right is negative. Yeah. But it doesn't really matter, okay? Just remember that you're comparing the left side to the right side of the body. Okay? I need a female. And another male. Negative female, positive male. Okay? So, now when we come down through here, we're making a comparison between these 2. I want you to remember, in your kata forms, you have forms where you grab high, kick low, right? Same time, negative to positive. You have moves that go front to back. Okay, you make the connection. You have movements that go across the body, diagonally, right? We have moves in our kata form that will work on men, not work well on women. Works back and forth, okay? Okay, now everybody sit down other than these 2. Just like that. I take this time out of every seminar because I want you to realize something. The techniques that you use on a male have to be different than the ones you use on a female. The techniques that you use on a strong, burly man have to be different than what you will use on a female or a flexible male. Okay? If they are yin by nature, make your attack yang by nature. Okay? Yang by nature, make your attack a yin attack. Okay? A yin attack. One that attacks the front of the body or attacks flexibility. It has absolutely no use against the female. Okay? Against the male, it drops him. He cannot stand those types of attack. If I beat on this male, doesn't matter. I beat on her, she's going to take offense to that. Okay? If you have a big, strong male with a strong yang exterior, where do you attack? Yin points, right? You want internals. The big, powerful weightlifter can be hurt here. Any attack that causes the body to come forward like this is a yin attack. If it opens the body up, it's a yang attack. Understood? Okay. You always will notice just to get it. It's time to write them down. Okay. Now, we have to deal with energy flow, okay? It is important that you understand the philosophy of a strong yang energy. Let me have the big guy. The big strong guy punches at me. To try to do this and stop that is almost impossible, right? We have a strong yang force coming in one direction. To meet yang energy with yang energy, strongest yang energy wins, right? If you think of a big powerful water hose going this direction, and this was a powerful water stream, say 300 pounds square inch, just flying. If you try to stop it here, it's impossible. You try to cut into it this way, what do? You bounce off, right? If you cut into the point this way, you can come through it though, can't you? If you cut into it this way, you can come through it, right? Because you are going with the yang energy, correct? You understand that philosophy? Okay, so what does that tell you about the meridians of the body? How would you strike the yang meridians? With the flow. What would you do with the yin energy? Against the flow, right? What kind of how does the energy flow in front of the body? Up. What do you do against the yin? Down, right? You've all seen this exercise where you rub up and it doesn't hurt. You rub down, it's excruciating, right? Against the yin. Catch them up, rising upper block behind the head with the yang. You understand? Okay, that was a lot in a hurry. That was a lot real quick. Any questions on that part? Everybody's got those. Okay. Now, let's suppose we have a combat situation where this guy steps and punches at me with that strong hand. What did I just do? What did I do with the energy? With the yang. And I swept it this way, right? Okay. So you understand that concept. And what's going now also you kind of brush down on it. That helps a little bit. You set up the next movement. One thing I want you to think about our combat situation is this. That hand comes from here to here, right? I've seen a lot of students try this movement. Which can get from here to here quicker, or from here over here and back quicker. Who's going to win? Okay. What if he comes and I go like this? 4-inch movement. Who's got the advantage? Okay. Who's got to cheat and win? Who went first? I cheat the best I can, right? Okay. Everybody happy with that? Questions on any of those? Okay. Now, you are all familiar with this strike, right? Okay. Does it work better when I put this hand on here and do this? Or does it hurt more when I do like this? More like this, right? Okay, this is an example of the 5-element theory. Of the fact that the fire element on the bottom of the arm will burn the metal on top. Fire burns metal. You see an example of that when you turn his hand over and drop him, right? And this takes him down, right? Does the pain hurt a little bit? Yeah. Okay. Now I want to show you an example, a real precise example of fire burns metal. I choose this metal point, right here on this knuckle. I choose this fire point, an active one. I'm going to put my thumb on it, I'm going to lock it in, and I'm going to touch this. Now watch the difference. Was that different than the first one?
More pain.
More painful. Fire burns metal. Okay? Questions? Understand what I'm talking about on those? Any combat applications of those might be necessary? Okay. All right. Now, thank you. Okay. What is the advantage of using pressure points in combat? Give me some advantages.
Makes it easier to take him out.
Easier to take him out. You don't have to hit him as hard to get the same job done, right? Does it also give you an internal knowledge of where your opponent will be when? Yes. Because your pressure point allows you to set him up, right? So I can get him into a position where I can move.
Decide how much you really want to put pain and hurt him.
That's right. The more of them we add, or the more of those things we make wrong, the more pain he comes into. Okay? That's one of my buddy. I met him in the other class. He told me I could abuse him, so. Alright, what do you say, right? Okay. Let's make a couple of things wrong. We'll show you how to progress these techniques, okay? So this big group was over here grabbing, and I turned him over. Okay, so I turned it over. That put yang side of his hand next to the yin side of his body, right? That's not painful, is it? But if I push it down, it becomes painful, right? because it becomes another quadrant away. That is one philosophy I want you to keep in mind. Okay? If I pull it back over here and start that technique, but I touch my allergic points, that makes that painful, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay? If I pull it away from him and do it, it makes it hurt a lot more, right?
Yeah.
Okay? But if he's a big brute, he's got a big strong grip on me, and I can't get my little hand in here, well, I'll just stick those 2 points and let this do it. And we take him down easily. Okay? Now, let's suppose I want to inflict pain upon him. He has made me angry. I'll stretch him out. Does this hurt you?
Yes.
Tap out lightly so they'll see. Okay, that's not enough, so we add some more. Does this bother you even worse? Oh, that's not good enough. Let's get in here and make it aggravating. Okay, well, let's switch our grip so I can get those 2 allergic points, pinch them down. Well, let's stick one on the chicken heart to see if we can short him out completely. See how the technique's worked up? But now I'm agitated, so I'll go with this one. Okay, now we'll hold him and make him suffer. And if we don't like, I'll shake it. Okay? Is that abusive enough? Okay. How's that? Okay? The technique progressed. Oh, wait, I'm not through with you. I haven't struck you yet. I just abused you. Always help your friends back and then kick some other part off. Okay? It got progressively worse. I started adding more and more things. As I put him on the floor, I shorted the front to the back. As I held the front of his arm, I pushed on the back. As I shorted the negative to the positive, I pushed. As I made one point attack the other, the fire burnt the metal. So I pushed it. I chose the associated point to the small intestine meridian and stuck in it. I made that aggravation. Okay? I put energy in the system by rubbing it. Okay? All right. How's that? Everybody catch on to what's going on? How bad this is becoming? Okay? Now let's suppose what happens when we do this. I reach in here and I grab this, I strike here. What have I done? I put more energy in on the strike, right? But I must keep. Now, did I change anything from touching this point to the metal meridian? No. I just moved it up the arm further. I chose another active point on the metal meridian. And I said, fire, burn metal. Okay? And everything dropped out. He's having a nice day. Okay? So the fire burnt the metal. But that point was designed to knock him down. And it did. Okay, now what if I changed it and went to this one? That was this one. What if I went to this? It numbs the arm. So the point is here. Now he has no use in it. Okay? Slack tap down, splits the middle, goes right in on the metal point, no use of the arm. Takes it out of the fight. One weapon less to contend with. Okay? How can you use your hands to position him for a quick knockout? He sticks that same fist in my face, and we're about to begin. I want the head close to me, I want the body close to me so I can close on him. I'll choose those same 2 points, but I'll use it differently. Hands gone, wrist is ready to break against my body, arms forward, his next turn. So how would it look in combat? Hands up, strike, twist, jaw turns, left hand leaves, right hand leaves. We have our break. Okay? How are we going to short the head? Well, head's tight, heads are up, hold it straight ahead, look at him. I'm going to touch this point right here, and I'm going to touch this behind the head. Thank you, we turn him around. What would I do when I popped him? Same thing. What would be my choice of attacks? Thank you. I want to turn it around and see if it'll work the other direction. Okay? 2 points again. Questions? All right, now we want to take the weapon away. Take the arm out of the fight. Let's switch in. Okay? We got to make it look so we don't have an accident or we have somebody see you do this. Okay, when the fight starts, he sticks his hand up. You tell them the results of this tap on your hand.
Oh. It's numb.
What is your energy level to your body? Can you grab me now?
No.
Look at his complexion. How white it became real quickly? How the energy left? How the arm felt like it was gone? The shock applied? Okay? Simple tap. Simple short again. One to the other. Sounds simple to you, right? Okay. What's going on? That's probably enough to get that. I don't want to do that again. I'm going to knock. You're big tall. I'm going to lay down so this will be easy, March. All right, now you're going to be the attacker, I'll be attacking. Big guy knocks you down. You got to contend with this. The same things that work on the hands work on the legs. But you got to take the big guy down. So you got to use pressure points to do the work. Right? And you don't want to be looking at him while he's treading on your face. Okay? Because he will kick you. Right? So the big brute pushed me to the floor. He stepped out here with his leg. Knocked me down. The brute. Okay? I want to choose opposite points on his leg. I'll take the one on the inside. Feel that? So I'll touch it with this. Now where would be the next one that I would want? Alright? So I'll take this. Thank you. Take one over. Push this through here. Do we have any pain involved?
Yes.
Enough?
Yes.
Well, how about now? We have a prisoner using the pressure point. If you think this doesn't hurt your leg, you are greatly mistaken. But it gives me two free hands that I can add to his pain with. Right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, a shorting has occurred. I have the front of his leg, I have the back of his leg. I have his ankle twisted. I have a toe lock here that is really excruciating, right? Look at him crawling. He has me crawling up his back, preparing to put pain on him. How many times could you get a free shot in here now? Tons. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much. Okay. Understand what's going on. Okay? Understand how they add up. Anybody else? Any questions? No questions. I answered them all that quickly.
Can you show me where those points were on there?
Okay, what I chose was this intersection here. You'll see on every acupuncture chart, 3 major groups are going to meet right here. I chose the one here for the release point, on the back of the leg. I just chose the top one to cause him to drop. I wanted the knee to turn inside, but in case I wanted a separation, I wanted it to be the way I wanted it. I wanted to inflict the maximum amount of damage that I could. Okay? Any other questions? Let me borrow my little buddy back up here again. Let me show you something else. We haven't done anything front to rear. Okay? Let's suppose this big gorilla locks on to me. You don't have to use your hands to short him. You can short him with anything. Right? When most people lock on to you, what do? Hi there. Right? They're going to check your dental work. Right? So help them. Reach up here and pull them to you. What was your forehead used for? Short his head with it. Take the other hand and tap him. So we can just put him right on out where it'll be nice and easy. Okay? An easy one. Where did the short occur? One side to the other. Front to back. What did I use to short with? My forehead. And I just held him in position. So I could tap him lightly on the occipital behind the neck. Easy knockout. Right? Yeah. Okay. Questions?
You don't have to get him scared for it. You
Just all I really need is to hold him in there and hold him tight. Now, of course, I can jerk him in and strike him and knock him for a loop. Right? Okay. Let me lay on before you stand up. Let's suppose that you're down here and you want to take his leg down. He steps out here again, and you're in this position. Can you knock him down with just your hands? As long as you can touch the right point. Right? What about here? That'll take him down easily, right? It's a shorting from the inside to the out, yin to yang, points that hate one another. Touch them up and knock him down. Questions? I'm making this up as I go along. Y'all better help me. Okay. Anybody got any other questions on those? Combat installation. Now up sticks his hand forward. I want to trap inside, right? You've always seen this back fist. It's always been aggravation, right? Can we set this up? How many of you use your elbows? Stick it in here. What happens if you get a poke? Easy attack, right? Block, poke. The other hand comes, he has no power, we're too close. What if I use this tap here? Is that available? Bang. Right? Now what do I really want? Other side of the hand, right? We stand up, back fist up, good. Easy. Easily done, right? Do I have both sides of the head connected again? Do I have the short that we need? Do I have the setup I need off the arm? Everything I need available? Did the pressure points position him where I wanted him? We have what we need. Questions?
A question. If you hit him with your forehead on the other side of his head, is there a point there you have to hit, or is it just a...
The one I chose was this one. Okay,
Okay.
right above the temple.
Okay.
Anything on this gallbladder meridian is going to work if I
Okay.
connect it to here. But this is active, very active. So I just stuck my forehead on it easily. Okay. And that's an easy clip with a back hand.
So you need to be in at the ear. Right in his ear, right in against his ear. That'll light it up more.
So usually touch here and then you strike with one angle back.
Right there, up and up.
Up.
In and up.
Okay,
And there's no need to really, I just tapped him enough to make him dizzy. Ain't no use to, ow, how's your life, you know? Because it'll all flash in front of you. You can check it out real quickly. Okay? Questions? Sensei?
Mine.
Image his.
Nerve ending, nerve crossing, nerve Y. Where a Y is pressure point. Everybody know how to make a fist like this? How do you do that fist? Now, some of you have already shown this. If I've shown you this, then don't speak up. But what's that fist for? Huh? How many you got this? You got this fist? You've seen this fist in books, haven't you?
Yes.
Huh? How many see this fist? How are you gonna make that fist? You're gonna put that thumb right here. You're gonna put the thumb right here. Should be automatic. That one just goes up top. That just lays up top. When you strike somebody, you want to strike them down with that, not up. Whoever said up was opposite. When you go knock on a door, don't you do this? You don't go. You go around and ask anyone in the country really about this one, and I haven't found many people that know. I can't say any, but I haven't found many. They'll tell you this is up, this is down, this is over, this is... They don't know. They'll tell you these are for punching ribs. That's wrong. It's going to fold in. It's going to collapse in. When a pressure point, if I am communicating in another seminar, and I tell you it takes a down energy, that's the finger that's used. If I tell you you need an up energy, that's the finger that's used. Down, up. Here, Kevin, stand up here. How many people here, you hit somebody, right? Think that'll drop him? Yes or no? It might. It might. I'm going to get you all up and do this. I can close the camera off for that. Right here in the cheek. How about if I told you I could knock you out your cheek? You believe it?
Yes.
You guys believe it knock you out anywhere. That takes enough energy. If I hit him in the cheek, maybe it'll do something, maybe it won't. Maybe I break a bone, maybe I won't. But if I go like that, that gets in for enough energy. If I really want to make it effective, I do a little twist in there. I didn't want him to drop without a catcher.
I'll catch you.
But if I got him really smiling now, he felt it like that. He didn't want to twist. Did you want to twist on that? Feel it get in that hole? It goes right in the hole. Right in the hole. Even in the pinan katas, the heian katas, there'll be an up punch. An up punch or a high punch. And people will tell their students or say, that's a face punch. You're coming right up into that hole with an up energy. Anywhere we describe in a seminar, if you're at a future seminar and you know this, I sometimes don't say how to get to it, but if I say, even a pressure point here needs an up energy. One over here needs a down energy. This is only for down energies. This doesn't hit in that hole. Does it? Don't feel the same. This doesn't get into that hole. But right here along the jaw, midway along the jaw, is a pressure point right, it's rolled back here. This, hey, you stand up quick. I'm going to do it to a different person. Come over this side. This rolls over to catch him in that. So if I step and punch him in the jaw, now tighten your jaw so I don't injure you, this is what happens. He might take it. But this hook, the thumb holds it flat like that so that that hook's over this bone. He's a 200 and what pound person? 2 what?
45.
245. That's what he'd like to get down to. How many people do you know? They say one punch in karate can drop somebody. How many people do you know my size can drop somebody this size with one punch? Not unless they're well trained. And you step in and you punch a guy this big in the jaw, and he's going to take it. And you littler people, you punch him in the jaw, he's going to take it and he's going to hit you back, because I can whale him in the jaw pretty hard. But I hook in this way, and I hook up and over, and I hit there, he's going to drop. You've seen him just go with the tap. If I catch him with this, I got to know in my mind. We relate everything to kata. That's where focus comes in. Focus comes in. Focus comes in means that I know what I'm doing in the kata to my opponent. Not that my hands are this way here, that I know that when I do an up punch, this is happening. In my mind, and when I practice my kata and I up punch, I do the same move, but sometimes I do this, and sometimes I do this. Same move. That's what separates it and makes it more of an advanced kata. Understand? Now, I don't advise you doing that way back at the dojo in front of lower belts. I do my kata at home, and I have that come out. I have that come out. And then I do it with meaning. So meantime, somebody that big gets me, look what happens. I get right to the pressure point, and that pressure point is inside, in here. Reach on yourself, up and in, up and in, up and in. Some holds that break necks, they use this. They use this knuckle. And some moves in kata, you ever see a move in kata like that? All I would have had to do there is go like this. Looks simple in the kata, doesn't it? Go and break your neck. This takes the hand out, this catches the cheek, and you go for the other side. Any move in a kata, If you think of it as a stupid move with no meaning, then you are reinforcing a negative part of your mind. But when you know why you're doing that move, and you practice the kata alone, then you are shadow boxing. You are enhancing your kata. And you all know from my videotapes, because many of you have seen them, or you've been to my other seminars, that we don't do any blocking. There's no blocking in kata. There's no reason for you to block by yourself. There's no reason for me to be home alone and go block, 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 block. Blocking is for timing. You'll get some timing and distance if you're doing one-steps or freestyle fighting and he's blocking his move. But you don't get any timing or distance standing there blocking all by yourself. You are mapping out the angle and direction to attack the pressure points of the human body. This is the angle and direction of an up punch in kata. You gotta have a kata somewhere that punches up. So where are you going to hit up? Right in the middle of the cheek. Sometimes I've just said, maybe in past seminars, that I can knock people out in the cheek. You just saw it. Do you have any doubt that you were going to go down? Not if I hit him a little harder. You saw a tap. You have any doubt you would have went down? Not with a little bit harder. It's just you got to know where you are applying it. And the next time you do a kata and you up punch, you let your fist come the right way. Old pictures that we have of Gichin Funakoshi, you'll see him like this. You'll see him like that. And what makes that more intense is what he talked to you about. If I hold that arm and punch, or I grab that arm on this side and I attack. Look at some of the little pictures that are only this big. We had one blown up where Gichin Funakoshi actually has his fingers where he looks like he's scratching the guy's arm on one side and attacking the opposite side. I'm going to get you all to stand. I'll give you all a little pop there so you feel it. Okay, you can shut the video off for that, but I'm going to let everything that I tie together in the martial arts, I try to give a meaning for whatever I do, an understanding. If you have breaking in your school, some people will be quick to say that you don't have to do breaking. Boards are not going to attack you on the street. That's true, they're not. We use wood and cement. You get a feeling. I am actually glad in my martial arts career that I did some of the things that I did do. Breaking techniques is one. I put a lot of time in kata. I'm glad. Other people might have been working on fighting techniques, and as they get older, the fighting techniques don't get as good. They'll even teach a fighting seminar and not fight because they're no longer like they used to be, and they're afraid the young guy's going to beat up on them. I spent a lot of time on kata and finding out about kata and delving into my kata, and I'm getting older and I don't worry about the young guys beating up on me. You understand? I go into a lot of seminars, I drop a lot of people, I do a lot of seminars, and I get my hands on a lot of people all over the world. And I know my self-defense is going to work. Now, it all comes down to mental. To mental and the mind. If you've done any breaking, if you didn't do breaking, then you don't know what I'm talking about. But if you've had breaking techniques, you kind of know with the mind that the technique is going to work. And sometimes when you don't know that the technique is going to work, it doesn't work. It's the old story. If you think you can do it, you're right. If you think you can't do it, you're right again. If you try to break something and your mind is not with it, the object doesn't break. Same thing is true with the pressure points. That feeling from the breaking. I just get a feeling. You can call it chi flow, you can call it energy, but when I do something on somebody and I really want them to pass out, I know in my mind that I want them to pass out with it, and the two just fit together and the chi comes out and they go down. Now sometimes I'm just tapping people, but that's like you tapping on wood. I go around, I tap on some people, and we just see, if it works. How does it feel? How does this technique feel? But when you have somebody up and you want to drop them, there's more intensity there, and the want is there. Now, one punch that I tell you that we use on some of these points It is very dangerous, and it could kill someone in a street situation, but it is focusing through the person. You focus through the person. If I get somebody and I hit him, here, you stand up quick. If I hit this person, whether it be on one of those 2 points I showed you or not, on these 2 points, that's what could turn it into a killing technique, because you're going to fire on the cranial nerves. And the cranial nerves are going to light up with electricity. If I take somebody and I hit them, just with a hit, and I surface hit for here, he feels it. But if I look at her or look at that mirror and I focus for that mirror, see the difference in the same punch? I just stuck a hand out. My chi, my energy, my mind is never for my opponent. It's never for my opponent. It is always back there. It is always beyond my opponent. I might be hitting for here, but my mind is focused just like breaking through the object for that wood. If I truly hit him in this point or this point, and I am focusing for up there, he's going to go down and out. Sorry. He's going to go down and out because of my chi flow is going to be focused beyond him. So a lot of people are doing the points, and you're focusing at the point, on the point, not with the point or through the point. Okay, sit down. Anyone have any questions on that? The better the questions in a seminar. Now this is an advanced seminar, so we should have advanced type questions. Last year you were here at the camp, we showed you a couple different points. You start to put the two together, whether they're up, down. We tried to keep you away from coupling up on them. For instance, if you were at last year's seminar, fine. We showed you how to do some knockouts, didn't we? Now you're at this year's seminar. You just learned a couple more. But if you couple any of those up, then you could kill somebody, because once you have activated the cranial nerve, the nerve is fired, a message is being transmitted. If you re-attack the cranial nerve, there's a chance of a blood vessel breaking and or hemorrhage in the brain and killing them. There's a good chance of that. And if it's set up with a given order, then you can create that chance.
Chi, how can you develop that through your forms?
By a focus and understanding and knowing what you're doing with the moves in the form. What you have happening is a lot of people doing moves that are negative. You were probably taught moves as a white belt that you knew you wouldn't use in the street. Well, that's recorded in your body as a negative reaction. And you are saying, as you learned to move, I really wouldn't use it in the street because they gave you a stupid explanation. So now there's no way you would develop the chi in the kata. But now for just up punching in the kata, if I am doing an up punch, my chi is no longer just punching the face. I'm doing what I just showed you to do to somebody. So my energy flow is being enhanced with my kata. And you will develop that by doing the kata. My katas now have a whole different thought than they used to have when I was a competitor. And I thought I could do kata the best. I'd won some of the biggest tournaments in the country. Some with as many as 9,000 people there. And I took first place. Great. Everybody applauded. Standing ovation in Anderson, Indiana. Anderson, Indiana, for 9,000 people. Standing ovation for my kata. Little did I know, I didn't know what I was doing. I was blocking and punching, blocking and punching, blocking and punching. And I'd say that that's one of the downfalls of martial arts in this country that lacks credibility. Somebody said earlier to me in one of my earlier seminars here, when should you start teaching this? Actually, from day one, that there's better meaning. I just had a seminar down in Atlanta, Georgia, and they're, quote, American karate style. And they're in a big shopping center. They have big long-term contracts. And this is my second seminar there, and the instructor will tell you that his retention rate has been better. He's picked up 60-some%, his retention rate. They talk about how many people dropped out of the martial arts. It's sometimes because of the stupid explanations that you're given for the moves. And you're telling people this is a block, 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 block. Okay, any other questions? Good question, good answer, yes.
Is it necessary for the left hand to hit the right side of the face? And vice versa?
That is important, yes. Yes, the crisscrossing is, he explained to you, that's why we had that big lecture, the positive and the negative. Yes, it's very important because it fires. It's also if I take a bigger, strong, he's a yang person, I can tap him with less energy than I do one of the shorter people. I take bigger people, I can even give them a little less of a shot. That was hard for me to get early on in my pressure point study because I was always taught that everything's yang. When I went to a tournament, you're to yang that guy. My instructor told me that. And what used to draw a question in my mind was, you don't want to say it that way, you don't want to sound cruel, but I was freestyle sparring, and there were a few people I jumped in and gave them all the yang I had to see what would happen. I really wanted to see how my karate techniques would work. And I stepped in and popped some guy so hard one time, and I went back like this, and the judges went, 1 point! But in the back of my mind was a point. He was supposed to go down. He didn't. That was in my mind. I didn't tell him that I was moving. I just got me a Dewey button. He was to go down. I hit him all I had to see what would happen with my karate technique. And I gave him a full twist punch or whatever it was at the time, and I drilled in all I had to see if he could down. They went 1 point. So I'm sparring, but in the back of my mind was that's only 1 point. What's going to happen in the street? I can't be doing this point fighting in the street. So that led to my study, and then my study led to everything that you know, with the pressure points and angle and direction being hidden in the kata. And some of the higher kata has a deeper explanation. When white belts learn a kata and they learn this explanation, they don't have to learn its fullest explanation. But they better learn that this has some move too, and this is blocking. Let me tell you this, you get white belts, and you teach them a kata, and you tell them this means nothing, this is a block, but yet when you line them up for self-defense, you have them stop the initial punch coming. Right or wrong? Why separate the two? So now should you show it to white belts? Yes, at least a deeper meaning for kata. Because you have them saying, this means nothing, this is a downward block. Yet when you line them up and say, now we're going to do self-defense, he's going to punch, quick block it. Don't you? So now why shouldn't the kata and the self-defense fit together? Because then every time you do your kata, you're enhancing your self-defense. Every time you do your self-defense, you're enhancing your kata. When I am home doing a kata alone, I work out some of my better pressure point moves because I slow down. I used to do a kata to compete. It was quick. Now I slow down and I go, boy, this could be that. This could be that. This could be, I have all these meanings behind these moves. One place you've seen people dizzied and knocked out is in this under the ear area. That is a true energy up point. Now that I've said that, you know what to hit it with. But it's a true energy up point to stop the person. I'm only telling you this for caution. A chop in there might knock him out. You saw Bill knocked out today on an energy up point, and he would have went out. He was tapped. You do this in any of those areas, and you could kill the person. I'm just telling you this right now. This particular knuckle to there, in under that ear, in and up, is going to be a killing move. Anybody else have a question? When we discuss moves now, we just say energy up, energy down, and you know what to hit it with. What's this? Energy down. What's this?
Energy
up. Energy up.
How do you determine a yang person? By your size or?
His good physical build, his strongness is automatically a yang person. The wimpy looking person is kind of a yin person. Doesn't mean he can't be tough, but the person that's not frail, but littler and thinner, they're more to the yin side. A person who is more shy, it's usually not a yin person though that's going to attack you, because he's usually a little withdrawn, and he'll usually, well, you know, you're right, and he'll be, that's a yin person. Yang person's the kind of guy that's going to be right up in your face giving you the problem.
Is there a balanced person?
I believe so. I believe there's people that are, you're not it. You're a yang person. You're always burning energy. This guy does triathlon, swims, bicycles, runs, beats people up. comes in to do karate. He's always doing something. This guy does more exercise than anybody I know.
So there's no block. So in Okinawa, the masters is either they attack the arm,
Mhm.
okay, and follow through, or they parry.
Yes.
So
They did practice blocking, but they practiced blocking during freestyle sparring, which you still do, and during one-step sparring, or one-step type sparring, which you still do, they practice blocking, but they practice blocking with a different intent. They practice the blocking with the pressure points, as he showed you, with the angle in the arm, or they don't always have to hit them. When we have classes and work out, we don't always beat on these points. We keep in mind, here, stand up here. We keep in mind that if he is punching at me, that this could be on any one of these points. We do these moves, and we'll keep in mind that we could be hitting that arm. We don't always have to get him in class and go like this to numb his arm, because now we can't do that again. That's the problem with a high belt workout and pressure points. I only can get away with that like once, maybe twice. Can't even do it 3 times. He can stick the arm out again, and we can do it again. And that hurts more than the first time, right? But now he's not going to want to stick his arm out again, so the class is over. Class is over. So that's the problem when it comes to pressure points. I had a class where we went to Germany, and they wanted to do 7 hours, 8 hours a day in pressure points. I says, you can't. I says, you just can't. I said, it's impossible. I said, we're going to have to do something else, and we'll do pressure points for about 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the afternoon. We're going to have to do something else. Oh, no, we want to just pound on these points. I said, you got it. As long as I'm doing the pounding. After the first 45 minutes, the class was actually standing there going, nerves are going like this. You just can't do it. I said, hit him again. And they don't want it. Your mind has you doing this. You know, if I hit his arm again, his mind will have wanting to get that arm out of the way. Your body's starting to control this. And then in Germany, they thought it was some kind of great thing because they could walk around knocking people out. I had them pounding on each other's arms. But they were jumpy. You cannot do this. We can't stand around and hit you all in the face like that. Once to show it, once to see how you do it, that's where your qoute comes into play. That's where your qoute comes into play. In your mind, you're doing it. I can't stand you up and just keep hitting you in the face. Keep hitting you in the face. First of all, you know the story on 3 moves on a pressure point. You cross your legs. No, cross your legs like this. You don't want to get too lazy in the class. 3 pressure points means what? The person passes out. That's a knockout, right? That's what we do. That's why you do 3 steps in a qoute. 1, 2, 3. The earlier qoute. Always have right, left, right because of that. It also has 3 because his heart leans that way. It has right, left, right. There are really 2-for-1 places to kill somebody. Now, not just to injure and do what we're doing, because that's almost equal. But a lot of the killing spots are 2-for-1. The heart is controlled on that side, and when you go for a stress test, you'll see they put twice as many wires here as they do over there. That's because of heart influence on that side. So that's 2-for-1. Another meaning for 3 moves in a kata, 1, 2, 3, is how does that relate to a pressure point? They cannot take the 3rd time. Did you know that or not? Some of you know that, some of you don't. Some of you have been to my seminars where you heard that. In a fight situation, that's why I didn't hit his arm a 3rd time. You understand, it would have been paralyzed for maybe a good 20 minutes. It had really been paralyzed for a good 20 minutes. A person that can take a punch, and he feels the punch. But a nerve releases a protective juice. In books, it's compared to the venom of a snake. But it releases a venom to protect. Anytime you're hit on the nerve releases a little juice to protect it. The 2nd time, you'll read in the books that it only has 70 to 80% protection. Then it's all over. The third time there's no protection. I'd just like to know how they knew that so long ago. You understand? I'd like to know how they knew that thousands of years ago when they were doing pressure point work, how they developed all this. This took a great deal of study. I didn't come up with this. But I didn't hit him on the arm. He could have even passed out. He really would have messed up his arm. And you stand up again quick. Here goes his arm. No. I wish I'd have known this in the days and the time I had opportunities to work with some top boxers. You know, one of Muhammad Ali's claim to fame was he used to get in the ring and let the guy hit him all he had right off the bat to see what the guy had. Now, if you don't remember that, he did. He would get in and he'd even drop his guard and say, go for it. And the guy would hit him, wham, all he had. And Ali would take it and then verbally abuse him and say, is that it? That's all you have? I gave you a free shot? Now I'm going to beat you up? And the guy's mind would be going, yang, 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 because he didn't realize. What Ali didn't realize and what the guy didn't realize, if you were out in a street fight before my seminar and you hit this man with your best shot and he took it, let's say I hit him in the jaw or wherever, and he took it out the street, the chances of you hitting him there again in that fight are nil, because you're figuring, man, I gave him my best shot and he took, you're going to be looking for anywhere else you can to hit him. Anywhere else but there, because he took that one. That's not the way it goes. The way it goes for a fight is you got to get back to that spot. You got to get back. You take a stomach punch, tighten your stomach a little bit. If I tap him in the stomach, I'm only saying the stomach, but if I tap him in the stomach, now tighten it so I hit you. You took that one. Take another one. Now, only 70 to 80%, right? No, I have a third one. Come here. I'll tap you just light. You feel it? You can feel it when you do it on each other. You could do that on each other. You can hit each other. You all right?
Yeah.
No. In other words, what you have happened 3 times on the same pressure point. Some people can take a hit or a rub or whatever in a pressure point, and the second time gets it set up, and the third time is the one's going to drop them. Understand that? In Pottsville at your seminar, I had somebody pass out with that same move. Didn't I? Yeah. Were you at that? I hit the guy in the stomach, and then the third time I unloaded, which I didn't on him, but the third time I unloaded on that third one, and the guy went like this, and then he keeled over and passed out. You can sit down. They can pass out with 3 times on one pressure point if intent and impact was there. Now, that would depend too if they are on drugs or not. We had a man at Brazil, Indiana, some of you were at that, at Brazil, where a man had smoked some marijuana and came into my seminar, and I hit him 3 times on the lung point. I was only showing the three-point theory, and I hit him 3 times on the, and it wasn't supposed to pass out. I turned around to talk to the people, and I went like this, and he went right for the floor. And one of my people was with me, my instructors, and they come running over, and we all panicked, because he wasn't to pass out. I wasn't doing a knockout yet. If I'm going to do a knockout, I'll attend a knockout. And I ran over, we're getting him up, and my instructor leans over to me, he says, what does that tell you? I says, you're right. We're bringing him back. So I got that guy aside. I said, excuse me. I said, I got him all aside. I said, you use drugs. What he said? I said, no one hears this. It's you and I. You use drugs. He says, well. I said, marijuana? I said, did you smoke some today? He says, yeah. He said, I had a puff on the way to the seminar. He said, I was really nervous. I heard a lot about your seminar, and he said, I was scared, and that relaxed me. I said, relaxed you? It could have killed you. Could have killed you. Because that wasn't supposed to happen. We had another man at your seminar. I only felt him on 3 pressure points. We believe a heavier drug inducement than marijuana. You were there? You were there? You were there? We thought that guy died. Who else was there? Indiana. We thought that man died, didn't we?
Scary.
Scary. I mean, that everything shut off on the guy. White, lips turning blue, beads of sweat. And I only was showing these 6 points. And I gave him a squeeze. I was getting him ready to do something to him. He was a big, strong guy. And I squeezed here, I squeezed here, I squeezed here. I turned to talk to the crowd, didn't I? And he goes, just like a log, boom, right to the floor. I thought he broke his back. I mean, he locked and fell to the floor. I go running over. we couldn't get him back. We couldn't get him back. He was mush. And we were trying and trying, right? And he kept repassing out, repassing out. And the minute he got out of there, everyone else at the seminar wanted to go with him. They wouldn't have run out the door. I didn't have to teach that day. They wouldn't have asked for their money back, nothing. They were just figuring, how can I get out of here? But we discussed that, and could have been the drug involvement. Now, when they ask the questions, I like the camera to go off, in case it's a personal question. There's no reason to have stupid questions on the camera. I'll answer the questions, but sometimes they're just personal, and then we don't need to have it on the camera. A pressure point. We've done a lot of experiment with this, and you can. But if I have him here, and you know there's a pressure point right here, that'll put him down. He's down. Get up. We get him down. Look, I'm on it right. I really want to make it hurt. We do it this way. Oh, that one hurts, doesn't it? But you look at that spot and you picture a flywheel going. Some of you have seen this before, but I'm just telling you so you don't use this to injure. You picture a flywheel. It's spinning, a little circle spinning, a little circle spinning. Now don't go down. You were ready to give for no reason. You got to think positive. That's got to be a spinning wheel. A spinning wheel. Don't bend. Picture a spinning wheel, and I'm not doing a pressure point. The fact that I'm on it properly doesn't mean a thing. You have a spinning wheel. Picture water spinning, a wheel spinning, a wheel spinning, a wheel spinning. I can't put him down. You know why? He stopped his own energy. Energy is flowing. Now, if he's looking here, he can't stop the energy there. So when he's looking at me in combat and I do a technique, I am stopping his energy. That's how I could drop him and break his wrist. And that hurt more because that was the 3rd time. But if I go here and he pictures a spinning wheel, I can't put him down. But because he stopped his energy, it backs up and it hurts him there more. In other words, he has stopped his own energy, and just like a dam, the water backs up, so he stopped his energy. That's the place to hit him. That's actually the meaning of this in the kata sayuchin. You are to grab here, and if I go to move this hand and I find resistance, that's the meaning of this. That's why that's in the kata that way. I am to raise with this, and I am to really hit right here. Where if I hit, look at the legs start to bend. I am really to cock that hand and twist. So he cannot stop his energy on more than one point. You'll read that some of them, now I'm not saying some little old man in China can't. And I'm hoping he can, and I'm hoping I find that someday. I'm saying I don't know how to do it in more than one, but when you meet somebody in combat, you and I are going to fight. You have 361 points. You don't know which one I'm going to hit. How are you going to stop the energy? Understand? You get your wheels spinning. You don't know which one you're getting it on. You don't know where I'm going to get you. Was I going for that side? You might have thought so. I got you on that side. You don't know where. You don't know where these hands are going to go. And when you move, I'm going to pressure point and hit. And you're not going to be able to stop all that energy. Now we've experimented. If I chop him in the neck, if you can envision the wheel again, we've done knockouts, and you cannot knock the person out if he stands there and in his mind gets a wheel going again. Only time I've had a problem if I try to knock somebody out is because he's standing there and he's thinking about it and he knows where you're going. When he doesn't know where you're going, then I don't have that problem. But if they stand there, they are stopping energy, and if he pictures a wheel spinning here, can you picture it? Yeah, but that don't feel the same. It doesn't hurt. There's no electricity. But now look here. Look here. Okay, sit down. He didn't want that wheel. If nothing else, he's intelligent. He said, I've been to other seminars. But I have taken people. But what I'm telling you is, do not do that. That could get you hurt. Let's say you go over to Professor Wally J's seminar, and he's going to do this on you, and you throw your spinning wheel. He will probably spin your brain or break your hand, because he was just going into a technique with a follow-through or something else in mind, and you go spinning wheel. That's liable to get you injured big time. Understand that? So if I'm doing a technique, or when I'm doing a technique, and you're learning, that's fine. You got to take in consideration that everyone in this room knows and hears what we're doing. And when I'm teaching somebody, or you're working with somebody, you know and know what we're doing. The man out in the street doesn't know what we're doing. He don't know where I'm going to hit him. And he certainly wouldn't expect this or this when he gets hit. And he might even think it's a punch and think he can take a punch. You know how people tell me they can take a punch? They can't take that punch. They can't take that punch. They tell you I can take a punch. I bet you before I got here, well, you saw me punch him, and I tapped him out, and he was going to go out. Before he met me, he thought he could take a punch. This guy right here, he's only coming to my seminars. I met him out in Indiana. First time I met you, I said to you, what, did I ever knock you out? And he said, no. I said, how about if I do it? Boom, down you went, right? And you were heavier then. What were you, 275? Yes. He was 275, and he came in the room swearing he could take anybody's punch. I said, I'm not going to punch you, I'm going to touch you. Didn't I? Yes. And out he went. This guy, I had him up first. Look at the size of that guy. If anybody's going to fight him for a real fight, you better be able to do this. That's a big man. It's a big man. To get him up and boom, 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 4 moves. Before he came here, he probably thought he could take a punch. Didn't you? Sure. I have a man that comes to my house from Ireland, and he says, there's a bar over there. They let you punch him for a beer. He wants to take me to the bar. I'll drink for free. The only thing is, I think I'd cause a lot of commotion, or I'm going to get a gun or something. Because these guys actually stand there and take a shot and buy each other drinks. Crazy game. Okay, question.
Speaking of bars, does alcohol have the same effect as the other drugs you're
Yes.
talking about?
Yes, make you lightheaded, gives rush to the head. If the drug, whatever the drug affects, it makes that area weaker. Marijuana affects lungs. Cigarettes affect lungs. I can almost tell the difference in smokers and non-smokers, and especially chain smokers. When I am doing techniques on the lung meridian, and I put somebody down, even just in a basic technique that you've seen Wally do or Remy do or you learn here, the heavy smoker will always get up and go, he'll have 2-3 breaths. We pay attention to that because it happens all the time. The heavy smoker will always take a breath or two when he gets up. The medium smoker might get up and take 1 breath. The non-smoker just gets right up, oh, I'm okay, and is ready to do it again. So the cigarettes affect the lungs, and we can almost see that. Marijuana affects the lungs, so that really is effective. If you take a drug and it's alcohol, that affects the head. So any of the head techniques, you're very vulnerable when you're drinking alcohol. Not that I wouldn't drink alcohol, but you are vulnerable when you're drinking alcohol to head moves, because you'll get that rush to the head and the brain. And if it's too much alcohol, your blood pressure can climb, and it can also be bad on the heart.
What length of period would you wait? Let's say you had a few beers before, like would a day or two, after you would drink be sufficient? If this would be out of your system and all, practice.
It depends on how much you had.
Yeah,
But you can just practice. No, it's whether you can take a shot or not. You wouldn't recommend for a fighter to if he's an alcoholic drinker, to take a drink a few days before the fight. There are many boxers that do and did and still could take some punches and that type of thing. But you really, you try to avoid a trouble situation if you're drinking. I always try to avoid one if I'm drinking, because I know I'm vulnerable. I mean, if I've had the drinks. Now I figure if I had the drinks and you have the drinks, I'm still ahead of the game.
Depends how much drinks you have.
That's right, that's right.
Since there are so many points and variants and different striking methods, where do you start? And
The kata.
well, since you started that way, looking back on it, you might go, maybe there was a better way to organize it so you can remember it
Nope, the
in a
kata.
system other than
Every
just
time I do the
verbal
kata,
memorization.
I am mapping out the move. And if you do something to me, I will do the moves of the kata on you. If you probably have not seen my advanced tape yet. You have. I take the shortest kata there is, called Naihanchi. Very short kata. Everybody finds that kata boring. But I literally tear people apart with that kata, don't I? I literally tear people apart. Some of them are in this room I tore apart. There's Jeff Driscoll. He's the one with the hair technique. There's Bill Birch. The Bob Golden was at that filming. I literally take the shortest kata. When I am doing this move in a kata, if I think of that as double striking or double blocking, then that's all the further my mind allows it. But if I take that same move and have that grab in your hand and grab in your hair, or taking your pressure points out as I grab your arm, as I do my kata, if that's my thought in my mind, I am mapping it out. The minute somebody touches me, they get Naihanchi. I would do the move out of the kata. Where in the past, before I started these seminars this way, trying to educate Americans on kata, there isn't people coast to coast that would tell me they would go out here in the parking lot and use one move out of a kata to defend themselves. Right or wrong? In other words, before I came along, you were to take a kata. We're going to send you out, and there's a bad guy out there now waiting for you. In fact, he's so angry, he's punching cars, getting ready. And you're to go out and stop him. But pick which kata you would like to use. And you would have said, my kata? Yeah, you can pick one. Then pick one move out of that kata you got to go stop him with. Oh, I think I'll use the down block. Yes?
I've got a question about the thought, as you were saying about the wheel. What if you had a fight off, like you said, a big guy like that, and something be hit anywhere on your body? Do you think that if you just think of your whole body spinning at that one point, that
No.
wouldn't do it?
No, we've experimented with that. After the video camera's off, I'll give you another thing.
It's versus what Rick did on instead of holding the front, striking it back, if for some reason you were in close where you could hold on to the back and then strike with the front, would that work?
Yes, I would work both ways.
You had to
You
stay.
just have to just get the anchor point in the back, and you have to apply the energy before you.
What if you went up on both on back? Or would you just stick with
However,
one
what
and
he
cross?
did to activate that was just place his head again.
Well, I'm saying,
If
but
he'd have
opposite,
headbutted,
place
that
it.
probably wouldn't have put him out. Right?
That's one thing that you anchor it with the cap.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I meant vice versa. You'd anchor with the back,
Yes.
and then
Just keep you a good anchor at the rear and apply the energy to the front.
Yeah, it's got to be the two opposites, the yin, and that's why yin and yang, two opposites. If you apply, you can hit. If you hit, you just apply. It's got to be the opposite. The hit and hit usually just nulls it out. That's why, like I was saying earlier, I would hit people hard. I had a hard time. I had to back down some power because of tournaments. I used to think, hit him hard, and when I got into pressure points, I was doing some of the pressure points too hard. That overrides the system, and I don't get the effect. It really does take a touch, and the touch comes from practice, and the touch comes from putting it to the kata. And when you're doing the kata, you start to think it, and you do it, and any of the moves in the kata that you have in your mind while you're really doing them, then the next time you apply them on somebody, it works. If I do something on somebody and it doesn't work, the next time I'm doing the kata, I realize why it didn't work. I wasn't facing the same way. I wasn't in the same foot position. I've done some moves on people and they don't go anywhere, and all of it, here, just come up here a minute. Even just a basic move in this Yucha, and if he grabs me and I go like this, now don't go anywhere. I go like this. He feels it, but in the kata, a step takes place. So if I go like this, he goes down with the step taking place. If I catch the point and I strike like this, we put him out of it, put him out of it, put him out of it. So that's the move in the kata. So if I am working out a technique on an individual, and for any one reason it doesn't work, I think of the kata. And I say, wait a second, in the kata there was a step. In the kata there was a cat stance. In the kata there was a cat stance. Move in a cat stance. I'll do a technique on somebody and my feet will be flat. Maybe he feels it, maybe he doesn't. He gets it. Maybe he feels it, maybe he doesn't. But in the kata, cat stance. That transfers energy. In the kata, sometimes a horse stance. A horse stance. Would you get in a horse stance in front of a person for a fight? I would. I would. Because the horse stance transfers energy this direction. So if I have him in a technique, whether it be finger, hand, and I take him in a technique, I go out to a horse, I make sure that my energy cuts that way with the stance. So I can be in a horse. I'm in front of him. He can't kick with that leg, but I can punch him here. I can zap him here. I can bang, do my technique. So people don't understand the stances in kata. They see a horse stance, they call it a front exercise stance. I say, would you do that in front of your opponent? No. My groin's open. But maybe I started the kata like this. Maybe I started the kata in a relaxed stance and caught that arm somehow, and I went to this to transfer energy, I went to this to transfer energy, and if I really want to hurt somebody, we do this stance. We call it a crossover. That drops my energy down. That lets my energy go down. Even though this looks like a vulnerable stance, as I catch somebody here, he felt that, but he feels more pain if I do this with it. That drops my energy. Only stances they use when they do pressure point work is a front stance, be it left or right, a horse stance, a cat stance, and crossover. That's the only stances that are involved in pressure point work. They transfer energy to put it into opponent. When they talk about long, low stances, some katas will have real long, low stances. People say, well, I wouldn't use that in a fight. Why would you use that? That's traditional. No, if I catch him again and I do any one of the techniques and I drop in long and low, it hurts him more and sets him up to be hit. So the long and low is a good stance in the kata. I just like to share a lot of knowledge that I've acquired over a lot of years. And my goal is to give more meaning to kata. You people can help me with that goal. We learn, we study together. You help me, I help you. You go tell other people. By the way, I think it was you that told somebody. You're Jeff, right? No, which one's Jeff here? Okay. Well, Jeff went and told somebody about all this, and the guy called me up, we got talking, he bought my videotapes. And he's from another school. Oh, he's from Sakimusukai school. And now this guy in Sakimusukai's got my school. You have morning to night. Everything is based on the flow and energy within the moon and the sun and the moon. Understand that? The moon and the sun control gravitational pull. They control you. I don't care if you believe this one or not, I'm just going to tell you, but the larger the moon, the easier it is to tap people out. The smaller the moon, the harder. When there's no moon, it's not impossible, but it's to be difficult on a no moon. We toured through Australia, New Zealand, and we were going through that, and the moon was constantly getting bigger during the tour. Right, Kim? The moon was getting bigger, and the person who was with me, traveling, taking me to the different seminars, was the only other person aware of what was happening. I said, I'm going to do the same knockout at each seminar. We have days between them. I said, I'm going to do the same knockout. Watch how deep they go. I said, you see it up there now? It's just a splinter of a moon. I tap a guy at the seminar, and he just barely goes like this. 2-3 days later, we have another seminar. The moon's up a little bit bigger yet. Same tap. Bang, the guy goes like this. The moon kept getting bigger and bigger as we did, I think we did seven or eight seminars, but we had days between them. Towards the end, the moon was up at about 80%. I was barely tapping and they're going out all the way. When someone is going to fight, or I'm teaching a seminar, below the waist, they are vulnerable up to noon. It's actually easier to break or dislocate a leg in the morning, up to 12 o'clock. So this is all you have to remember. You don't have to remember times of the day. You got to remember noon to midnight. That's it. It's a very simple thing. If I'm teaching a leg seminar, and it's real early in the morning, I barely tap. I barely tap the leg points, and the leg shoots out from under. Later in the day, it's harder to do the leg points. It's harder to do the leg points now than it would have been this morning. But he's weak up here now. So from noon until midnight, I want to concentrate most of my techniques here. It's getting later in the day. That's why I was popping people with this and buzzing them with this and popping them with that one. If it's a real morning seminar, I'll be banging on your legs, showing you leg things. Break the leg in the morning, injure them up here at night. Just think of it as being natural though. Morning, night. Don't worry about the legs. We use the legs up here. People ask me at the other seminar, would you kick above the waist? Not in a real fight. But yes, if I have my opponent and I catch him on a hard point, and I have him on another hard point and he's coming down, now if I kick him in the heart, we're going to stop the heart. We have 3 hearts. You're going to stop that heart or make it miss a beat. A big beat. So that's why there will be moves like this in the kata, or like this in the kata that involve a front kick, or you'll see hands come like this, and you kick. It doesn't have to be groin. Everybody assumes these were blocks, kick him in the groin. It could have been any grappling technique that involved the heart, and now you kick him in the heart. I'm kicking him above the waist where he's weak because it's above noon. Everybody understand that? Noon to midnight. And then midnight it starts to reverse and go back to the legs. When I'm teaching a seminar on legs, if we're teaching it in the morning, it's real easy. Real easy. If I do it in the afternoon, I have to wrap a little harder. Coming into night now, if I'm showing leg points, you really have to give them a full shot. You can still do it. We can still break a leg using pressure points, but you have to give more of a shot because you know it's in the evening. That's all you have to concentrate on. The fullness of the moon, don't have to look at that. I don't run out and look at the moon whether I'm having a seminar or whether I'm going to fight. You understand? I don't run out and look at the moon. I don't worry about the time of the day. I don't worry about the time of the day or the moon. I just really think morning, night, that's natural. I don't worry about the moon. If I connect with him with a point, and he only goes this far because there's no moon or a little moon, or he goes all the way because it's a full moon, I don't care till after the hit. You understand? If I just tap you and you even just go like this for 2 seconds and I want to hit you again, then I can. The fight's over. Did I explain that? Anybody else question? In the wheelchair, and what you don't know is these days, maybe even I used to compete, he used to be one of the top 200 competitors in the United States. Totally unbeatable in his lightweight division, totally unbeatable on team competition. He used to travel all over the country, and he was a top tournament competitor, constantly rated, and he came down with a disease or problem that affected the spine, and he left him the way you see him now in a wheelchair. But his mind worked perfectly, and he's an excellent martial artist. He still trains students, tells them what to do, operates out of the wheelchair, and the students love and respect him for it. You're all going to rise, and we're all going to bow to Marty and Amy. I can't stand here and he attacks. We set up that arm. All right. Are you all right? Watch this stage trooper. Oh, yes. He attacks. I was getting yours. Knock somebody out with that move alone. Pressure point right here, you can put them out. All you really have to do is hit these ribs. Most people don't know where to hit when they hit. If I hit over here, it don't do me any good. If I hit him in the ribs there, hit him up there, he's going down and out. He flew in from California this time. Right? When they talk about there being one touch, one punch, it's true. You understand? It's just because you didn't know, and when people write in, it's easy to understand why they can say one punch doesn't exist. One touch doesn't exist. It exists if you know how the pressure points are, where they line up, where you're going to fire on them. You people weren't there, but over in, most of you, but in the advanced session, I knocked people out on their cheek, didn't I?
Sir.
On their cheek. Touch them on the jaw. We put them out. And it doesn't matter what size they are, it's just you got to know what point to hit and when. This man flew in from California just for that, sorry.
Until they really see it and understand. I had a policeman that was taking 9 years of teaching Kazu Kempo in Vallejo. He joined my class, and he found out how simple, small silver was. And I told him Dillman was going to be in California in January. He said, I heard about the guy. You know what? He said, I said, you come to the seminar and you tell me. Came to the seminar, he's one of the biggest boosters now. He said, I couldn't sleep that night. All night I wrote down until early hours in the morning what I learned now. Think, I wrote it down. The man is something. So seeing is believing sometimes. Sometimes feeling is believing. This is seeing is believing. Because I was teaching a guy in New Jersey, his daughter, my wife's cousin, and the next day they said, Dad, when are you going to act? He took taekwondo. So he said, okay. The first all I put on his screen. Boy, seeing is not believing, feeling is. I guess all you folks know that. Okay. Any questions? Questions are free now. You pay for the answers. Okay. Maybe I just demonstrate something. I already did it. I'll show you. First of all, when I was in Norway, I wakes up and says, oh, I got an idea. I work and finally get press it over. I'll do slow motion how it works now. Grab from right here. I lock, arm bar. From right here, watch. I actually put a bar on. You can't bend. Right here. Lock the leg here. Over here. Grab the toes. I was in Australia, they call it the dance of pain. Fingers can up, just a little finger, that's all. You hold this way, you can swim all over the place, but you hold the finger, you can't move. You want to dance? Look at me dance. Whoa. Whoa. One finger. Up, up. Oh, there's one. Whoa.
Of every fighting and
Removal,
removal weapon.
Australian prince.
I'll show you some of the form that I made a research for more than 27 years that I produced the first earnest book, you know. The first English earnest book that were published in the Philippines. But Judy, will you please, I didn't practice with Judy for almost first you must learn how to strike. The striking is 1 to 12. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Once that you learn to strike, you learn to block. This is the blocking. Okay. Or strike it here, the move. That's the motion there, this will be disarm. You know. But here, the blocking here, if you strike, there is the mobility that you are doing like this. Okay. This is, we call the sticky hand of Barnes, you see. You could do it with a right hand or left hand, this is movement. See, this is lock here. This is lock here also. This is lock here also. You know. But the beauty of this, you know, you are learning at the same time you learn how to block. You learn how to disarm. You know, for example, John. You know, there are so many. Here if they strike here, bang! This is a disarm here. If they strike again, bang! I will hold it, this is not still. You know, that's 700. If I strike that, you see the time is slack, you know. But here, if they strike here, if I swing this all the way, this is slack here also. If I do like that, this is slack here also, and I press this, you know. All the way, all the strike, you know, it connect. This is disarm, this is also throw. See, this is also lock. You know, this is also lock here. You know, this is lock here also. Anything that you will do, you know, it flow. Here, this is lock here, this is lock here. You know, now the beauty of this, because if somebody, Andy, somebody will hold. If they hold the stick, the thumb here is a lock already. See, this is a center lock. See, if they hold, this is single lock. You know, if they hold the cane, here, this is a through. See, and this is lock right over here. The motion. Here. And this is lock here. You know, this is lock here also. You know. Now, in the cane, the forearm here is the one for this arm. You see, this is center lock. You could translate this, the same technique that in the hand. Here, this is center lock. This is a thumb lock. You know, this is a through here. If I step here, and this is lock again. The same here, I let it go up. You know, everything here, this is a lock. You see? If I swing this, this is lock here. If the hold too stick, I grab this, this is still lock. You see? If I go inside, I swing this, this is center lock here. The motion to two finger lock. You must come and here. It's also center lock. If I step there, this will come out. Two finger lock. Here, this is one finger lock. Come to thumb lock. And all the way, see, you come back to this position and lock again. Now, all of this falls to this technique. You know, this is lock again here. You know, now, there is no one who could hold your stick. Because here, if you grab this, this is lock here again, at the back. Here, if you hold there, this, the forearm will be the one to release. The forearm will be the one to release. But if you grab this, that is center lock. The same here, that you hold there, you go with the thumb. You know, and come back to this position. Okay, and you go to this position again. Now, the counter attack here is very important. Because every time you strike, you know, there is a, you know, mobility that you do like that. Now we call it the sticky hand here movement. And you do like that, snap right away. You know, mobility here, if they strike, bang, this is lock here, this is lock there also. You know, here, the same, if they strike there, I do like that swing, this is lock, they strike to the head, bang, this is lock here also. The same technique that trust me, I do like that, this is two. The movement. Or, if I strike there, and he will grab that, he will be locked by himself.
Us, Wally J.
Here we are, looking younger.
Grandmaster Van Ben, Willie Lim is here. Even Jeff Driscoll made it from Pottsville. Rick Clark is here.
George, you don't have a zoom on that?
Yeah.
Oh.
I want the whole picture, though. I want the gang, the house, private coach.
Private coach?
I get over to a teacher in California. I don't know.
Here we are at the party. There's Rick Clark, Van Ben. There's my sweetheart.
You're a big, strong, healthy young man.
1/3 up, everyone's neck. 1/3 up, everyone's neck. Right along the sternocleidomastoid muscle, which is this muscle. The muscle goes from the tip of the base of the skull back here and connects with the tip of the collarbone. Okay? 1/3 up on everybody. Now, if his neck's shorter, it's still 1/3. However, if he has a shorter neck, I usually wouldn't sneak in after it. I get up higher. But 1/3 up the neck, right here is a pressure point that will numb that arm. Understand? It'll numb that arm. You catch it with this knuckle. You catch it with this knuckle, and you catch it on an upward climb like this, from here. Feel it go down that arm? You just fire from here up. It's got to be one continuous upward climb, and this is the spot you're catching. I'm doing it loose, but if I catch a little harder, it numbs that entire arm. You feel that arm? No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. In that qoute, you are doing both sides. You are doing both sides 1/3 up. People give explanation that kata, that somebody's grabbing and you're breaking it, and you're breaking this, and you're doing that, and you're grabbing his head, and you're doing this. That's not going to work in a real fight situation. But in a real fight situation, if he grabs me, I can just take these two knuckles, which you should not do on both sides at the same time. I would only do one side so you feel. But I would do both sides on the hip like this, and it actually will drop the arms. You hit them right, the arms will drop. And in that kata, same thing he explained, but if in that move in the kata, you might have a different way of doing that move in the kata, but in that move in the kata, the move is like this. And you are turning this way. People say, well, what are you doing with this? You're kneeing the guy. Watch the way the knee actually goes, though. The knee comes this way. If he grabs me and I hit him on both of these, I knee inside that thigh. And these three are going to put him out. And I am actually to still have the neck for this turn. And this is, and then you take that head and release it, turn it. You understand? Everybody get up with your partner. And watch.
Get the line so we'll be in the picture too. That's gonna be a good picture.
Yeah, you want? People do a kata hangetsu or seisan. It's one of my more favorite moves for instant self-defense. And they do here. Do you understand? They see this move. I was told, I had a big discussion with the Ishiro people, I was told, you're grabbing, you're blocking one punch, he's punching, I was told you're blocking this punch this way, the muscle don't go that way, and then you're grabbing his hand and pulling him, and then this one's blocking a kick. More advanced means if he's punching at me, this takes him down, and this opens him up on this side for a ridge hand. And this grabs the hair or the ear, which can whiplash the neck if it's yanked quick. If I hit him, which could just dizzy him, quick grab the hair and yank, it whiplashes the neck. More advanced meaning, which no one is to go try this. This, you have a pressure point right there that's activated by one right here. Move to this side a little bit so they can see. I bust you guys in the hall with it, didn't I? That great big 240-pound Ishiro guy, boom, tapped him, they buzzed. Willie Lim, buzzed.
Willie Lim. Come here, Willie.
Buzz your butt, Willie? What?
Come here. Come here, Willie. We like this,
Now, if you catch here and here simultaneously, that's just an advanced meaning of just that much of the move. Just this move I explained in some of my seminars, the more advanced is to tap those with knuckles. When I catch up under here, here, and tap here, just this much.
Put me on him. Cross his leg. Cross his leg. Oh, right.
The neck. If we do 3 pressure points properly, let's get you on this side also. If you do 3 pressure points properly, in a couple of my seminars I would buzz some people, but I would only hit, I would hold this pressure point, and I would hit only one here, which is 2, and the eyes would go. I can either use this part of the arm, or I use these 2 to strike. What I'm going to show you now is that you can knock people out on the arms. We just had a seminar out in Indiana. I knock people out on the legs. If they kick, I'm new at that. I'm just a baby at that. But I just started. When people kick, I want to knock them out on the legs. When people grab or punch, I want to knock them out on the arms. I don't have to get to the body Because if I can use this to strike one pressure point, this to strike a pressure point, it is the meaning of this move. 3 pressure points can put somebody away. Going in then for the neck could actually kill somebody. I'm just trying to show you how the advanced can actually kill somebody if this puts him out. You watch his eyes.
What my sticks?
not use it in a real fight, ever. So why practice the move? Understand what I'm saying? Why practice that move? There are a lot of moves that were done in katas, such as knife hand blocking, X blocking, that I ask people, would you use those in a real fight? And they say no. Yet, in your kata, those moves are there. Don't you think the originator of that kata had a reason for those moves? And his reason was very serious, because the people who developed all the kata were, in essence, killers. Every move in every kata was actually designed with a killing behind it, a method to kill. You name the move, I'll show you how it can actually do somebody some serious damage. We're going to pair off and work on some of the moves. You're asked to use some restraint, not to pound on each other. Everyone take your right arm and hold it like this. Take your left arm and squeeze at the wrist, right at the wrist. Go up to the middle of your arm and squeeze, and go right up just below your elbow and squeeze. These 6 points are the most important. They are more important than any one of the heart pressure points, any one of the points in your body. These 6 are more important because they activate the pressure points in your body. Just touching them. A lot of kata that is done. I know we have some issue with people here. You do a kata sanchin, and you'll have a move with the hands moving like this, and they circle, and then you'll do moves like this. This circling actually hits or activates those 6 pressure points. On your opponent, you strike them or hit them, so when you close with the body, your opponent is weaker and going to go down. In the most simplest of explanation, these pressure points, this one controls your opponent's wrist, his actual wrist motion. This one controls his wrist motion. This one controls the energy into his arm. There's a pressure point right in between these 2 muscles. Now this one lies in between the muscles, so it's in his balance. So a lot of moves that look like a leg block or a down block are in essence getting in between there. Strike that properly and it numbs the arm. Wrist, wrist. This controls his fist action, keeping a fist shut. This controls him keeping a fist shut. If you're going to do acupuncture and operate on the fist, there'll be a needle here. If you're going to operate on the wrist, there'll be a needle here. The 2 pressure points that you are squeezing here are not at the joint. This is the man's actual joint. They are a half inch up from the joint along the 2 bones. Half inch, right on the bones. You have to know and even teach lower ranks that these points exist. If he has a tight fist, and a hard wrist, and I want to bend his wrist, you will not bend it by any other method. If I touch this bone right here on my thumb against this pressure point, now don't let me bend your wrist. Keep your wrist locked so I can't bend it. I just touch right here. We're going to bend the wrist and actually break it if we wanted to. I tell people that on a tall person like this, I can be 8 inches, 10 inches on a long arm away from his wrist and break his wrist. And that's because this pressure point releases the wrist. I catch this pressure point up here, he can have a tight wrist, but I catch this pressure point and we can just snap the wrist. the angle and direction in kata, almost everyone does this move. In kata, the angle and direction on the outside of my opponent's arm is this way. It's that way. Doesn't this look like the move in a kata? Where I can snap the large bone of my arm against this pressure point to quick snap and break a wrist. That should remind you of the angle and direction needed to break the wrist. Inside, this point and this point control him keeping a fist. If he has a fist shot, if you all take your own arm and rub your knuckles, just go down the big bone, you'll see it causes a tingling. When someone has a fist and they're striking, if you strike it this way, it destroys the fist. The fist just will open up. Even if it doesn't open all the way, hitting it this direction destroys it, that if he hit you, he's going to break his fist. It's that simple. When you catch it this direction, most of the moves in kata coming this way are more important or more violent than the moves going that way. Everyone understands them going that way. But you don't understand them coming towards you. And all the moves coming here have very serious meaning. A lot of them to attack people even behind the back if they're grabbing you. You have more pressure points behind the back than you have in the front. 2 for 1, twice as many. 2 for 1 back here is up here. Pressure points all over the back can be used against you in grappling or in tight situations. So when you work these pressure points, remember that the angle and direction is that way. These are the easiest to hit. And it's a natural move, if I were fighting someone this big, to be backing up, to be backing off. And if he's swinging or swinging, isn't this a natural move for me to get out of the way of his attack? But it's also a natural move to take that or destroy the arm with that motion. When you attack one pressure point or do one pressure point, pain is felt. Understand? You feel pain. When you attack 2 pressure points at the same time, and that has to be at the same time, the pain is felt in the middle. When I get into pressure points on the leg, we do not ever work pressure points on the arm and kick someone in the opposite leg. That can cause stomach cramps or even pain in the stomach or sickness. When we're just tapping on leg pressure points and we've worked on the arm, students have told me they get sick, I feel a little queasy, my stomach feels like I'm going to throw up, I'm upset, and I tell them sit down. Been working that a little too hard, or we banged one a little too rough. The pain when it travels on the nerve travels like that, and where it crashes is where it hurts the most. First time I had these done on me, I had a little Oriental man squeeze my wrist and hit me in the shoulder. And when I went down, I actually thought my elbow was broken. I mean, I went down and I was afraid to look. I thought the elbow would bend both ways like that. And I went over and I said, my wife was sitting there. I said to my wife, he broke my elbow. She said, he never touched your elbow. He only got you like this. Only got you to 2 distant points. If I understand? Okay. So we're going to work the moves out of the kata. If you have questions on some out of kata, you ask. Then we would work through it together. I do not know the answer to all the moves in kata. I probably will not as long as I live. I ask people, you've read that kata is a life study. When you get into my way of thinking of the angle and direction pressure pointing, you'll understand how and why it's a life study. I teach 361 pressure points all over the body. It takes a different angle and direction to activate them. But the mathematics involved goes off into infinity. In other words, striking this arm and striking up the neck cause one thing. Striking this arm, striking in the body cause another thing. Striking this arm, kicking in the leg cause another thing. And we're only working on one arm pressure point. So the mathematics of all the points coupled together goes right off into infinity. When you are working the points, do not be afraid to tap your leg if it hurts. You do not have to put somebody all the way down in pain. I don't have to grab him and really crank full blast to find out if my technique is working. My technique is working. If the opponent is larger than I, this is when these techniques are most important. I go into a lot of martial arts schools, and I do a lot of traveling with seminars. And I go out, and people this guy's size, he's pretty big, are working techniques on littler people, telling me how they work. And he can beat up this little guy. I knew that before I got there, you understand? I didn't have to study karate to find out whether he can beat up little people. But if little people can do the technique on him, then it's a good technique. Okay, anyone have any questions before we start? Yes, no? Okay, you're going to get your opponent. You're going to get your opponent, and you're going to work. First of all, I want you to put a hand out like this. And I want you to just do like if you were doing a patty cake. I just want to put a hand against it like that. I want you to grab it at the wrist, just above the wrist. And just curve this way and put your person down. If he's not going down, you're not keeping your elbows down, meaning you. I have to keep my elbows dropped so that my energy comes into him. Doesn't get lost out here. My elbow energy is right in here and locked against the lungs. When I work a technique, when I grab points, I do not just grab points, I torque the points. If you are doing this, you're on the points 60% of the time. I grab and move skin. Want to see how I'm moving skin? Moving skin. That torques and makes sure that I have the point at a lock that he's going to drop. When a person is soft and really mushy, just soft, the technique will still work. When a person is strong and tries to resist you, good strength, it works faster and harder and actually hurts him more. Didn't that hurt more? That one hurts more. The stronger you are, there's a book by Gichin Funakoshi. And in that book he says, the stronger the person, the weaker he is. And I never could understand that statement until I got involved in this. The stronger the person, the weaker he is. The larger the person, the larger his pressure points are that we are after. Understand? Little people are hard to do pressure points on. Children, I sometimes can't find some of the pressure points. Little people, some little frail women, I work and you don't get the pressure point. But you don't need them on little children. You don't need them on frail